Ahura Mazda created the universe through pure thought. Welcome to Deka Rankings. If you want to know things, you're in the right place. The topic for today is Top 10 Most Powerful Persian Gods. From the sacred fires of ancient Persia to the vast empires that stretched from India to Greece, the Persian gods embodied the eternal struggle between light and darkness, truth and deception, order and chaos. These divine beings shaped the world's first great monotheistic religion while preserving the complex pantheon of ancient Iranian spirituality. The Persians understood that existence itself was a cosmic battleground where divine forces fought for the soul of creation, requiring human participation in the grand struggle between good and evil. Today we rank the 10 most powerful gods of Persian and Zoroastrian mythology, from the least to the most mighty. We will explore their sacred domains, divine powers, ancient worship, and how their influence shaped religions from Judaism to Islam and continues to echo through modern spiritual traditions. Number 10. Rashnu. Rashnu, the righteous god of justice and divine judgment, stood at the bridge between life and death, where every soul faced evaluation for their earthly deeds. His power to weigh human actions with perfect accuracy made him one of the most feared and respected deities in the Persian pantheon, as no deception could hide truth from his divine perception. Ancient Persian texts describe him as holding the golden scales of justice that could measure even the smallest moral choices and determine their cosmic significance. He possessed the ability to see through any lie or self-deception, making him the ultimate arbiter of truth in disputes both earthly and celestial. His worship was essential to Persian legal systems, with judges and rulers invoking his blessing to ensure their decisions reflected divine justice rather than human bias. Archaeological evidence includes legal inscriptions that call upon his witness, ceremonial scales used in religious courts, and tomb decorations that show souls being weighed in his presence. His influence extended beyond individual judgment to encompass the cosmic principle that truth must ultimately triumph over falsehood in the grand scheme of existence. Today, his legacy appears in the concept of final judgment found in major world religions, legal traditions that emphasize divine justice, and the belief that moral choices have cosmic consequences that extend beyond earthly life. Number 9. Zoroastrian. Zoroastrian, the vigilant god of divine obedience and prayer, served as the voice of Ahura Mazda and the protector of faithful souls throughout their earthly journey and beyond. His power flowed through every properly offered prayer, every act of religious devotion, and every moment when humans chose to align their will with divine truth. Ancient Zoroastrian rituals emphasized his role as the guide who taught proper worship, the guardian who protected the faithful from spiritual dangers, and the divine messenger who carried prayers to the throne of Ahura Mazda. He possessed the ability to inspire religious devotion, strengthen faith during times of trial, and provide divine guidance to those seeking to live according to Zoroastrian principles. His worship involved elaborate prayer ceremonies, fire rituals that honored his protective presence, and community gatherings where his teachings about proper religious conduct were shared and celebrated. Archaeological evidence includes prayer books with his invocations, fire temples where his guidance was sought, and religious art showing his role as intermediary between human and divine realms. His influence shaped the development of structured prayer, religious hierarchy, and the concept of divine obedience as a path to spiritual enlightenment. Today, his legacy survives in religious traditions that emphasize prayer as communication with the divine, the importance of spiritual discipline, and the belief that proper worship requires divine guidance to be truly effective. Number 8. Vayu. Vayu, the swift god of wind and air, commanded the invisible forces that carried prayers to heaven, brought life-giving breath to all creatures, and swept across the vast Persian Empire with messages from the divine realm. His power was essential to Zoroastrian cosmology, as he controlled the element that connected earth to sky and served as the medium through which divine influence reached the material world. Ancient Persian ceremonies honored him with incense offerings, whose smoke rode his winds to the celestial realm, wind chimes that sang his praises, and hilltop rituals where his presence was most strongly felt. He possessed the ability to purify spaces through his cleansing winds, carry souls to their final destinations, and serve as a divine messenger connecting all levels of existence. His worship was particularly important during seasonal transitions when his winds brought change and renewal to the natural world. Archaeological evidence includes wind towers designed to channel his power, ceremonial fans used in religious rituals, and architectural features that honored his role in maintaining cosmic circulation. His influence extended beyond meteorology to encompass the spiritual breath that animated all living beings and connected them to divine sources of life. Today, his legacy appears in breathing meditation practices, the sacred nature of wind in many spiritual traditions, and the belief that air carries spiritual messages and influences that affect human consciousness and divine connection. Number 7. Atar. Atar, the sacred god of fire and divine flames, embodied the pure essence of Ahura Mazda's light and served as the most visible manifestation of divine presence in the material world. His power burned in every Zoroastrian fire temple, illuminated every sacred ceremony, and provided the purifying force that could cleanse both physical and spiritual contamination. Ancient Persian worship centered around his eternal flames, with fire priests maintaining sacred fires that were never allowed to die and represented different levels of divine sanctity. He possessed the ability to consume evil, purify the faithful, and serve as a medium for communication between human and divine realms through fire ceremonies and offerings. His worship required elaborate ritual protocols, specialized training for fire priests, and community support to maintain the sacred flames that were considered living embodiments of divine presence. Archaeological evidence includes magnificent fire temples, ceremonial fire altars, and sophisticated fuel management systems that kept sacred fires burning for centuries. His influence shaped architectural styles, religious practices, and the central role of fire in Persian spiritual life and imperial ceremonies. Today, his legacy continues in Parsi fire temples, the sacred nature of eternal flames in various religious traditions, and the symbolic use of fire to represent divine presence, purification, and the triumph of light over darkness. Number 6. Tishtria. Tishtria, the brilliant god of rain and the star Sirius, controlled the life-giving waters that sustained the Persian Empire and the celestial cycles that marked the passage of seasons and years. His power was most visible during the heliacal rising of Sirius, which coincided with the rainy season and marked the beginning of agricultural abundance throughout Persian territories. Ancient Persian astronomers tracked his stellar movements with precision, understanding that his favor determined whether crops would flourish or fail in the challenging climates of the Iranian plateau. He possessed the ability to battle drought demons, summon rain clouds, and ensure the proper distribution of water resources that sustained both agriculture and urban centers. His worship involved elaborate water ceremonies, stellar observations that tracked his celestial journey, and community festivals celebrating the return of rain and agricultural prosperity. Archaeological evidence includes sophisticated astronomical instruments, water management systems that honored his divine authority, and ceremonial pools where his blessing was sought during dry periods. His influence extended beyond meteorology to encompass the cosmic principle that divine timing governed all natural cycles and that human prosperity depended on understanding and honoring these celestial patterns. Today, his legacy appears in the continued association between Sirius and seasonal changes, water blessing ceremonies, and astronomical traditions that recognize the spiritual significance of stellar cycles in governing earthly affairs. Number 5. Verithragna. Verithragna, the mighty god of victory and war, embodied the divine power that ensured Persian military success and the triumph of truth over falsehood in the cosmic battle between light and darkness. His strength flowed through Persian armies as they conquered vast territories, through individual warriors facing impossible odds, and through all who struggled against the forces of evil and deception. Ancient Persian kings invoked his blessing before major campaigns, understanding that military victory required divine sanction and that earthly conquest reflected cosmic principles of good defeating evil. He possessed the ability to appear in 10 different forms, including wind, bull, horse, camel, boar, youth, warrior, raven, ram, and goat, each representing different aspects of victorious power. His worship involved elaborate military ceremonies, warrior initiation rites, and victory celebrations that honored his role in Persian imperial success. Archaeological evidence includes weapons dedicated to his service, military standards bearing his symbols, and victory monuments that credited him with Persian triumphs over enemies. His influence shaped Persian military culture, imperial ideology, and the concept that righteous warfare served divine purposes in the cosmic struggle between order and chaos. Today, his legacy survives in military traditions that invoke divine blessing, the concept of just war theory, and beliefs about spiritual warfare against evil forces that threaten cosmic order and human welfare. Number 4. Anahita. Anahita, the pure goddess of waters, fertility, and wisdom, flowed through every river, spring, and canal that brought life to the Persian Empire, while embodying the divine feminine principle that balanced masculine solar power. Her sacred waters purified temples, blessed agricultural fields, and provided the ritual cleansing essential to Zoroastrian worship and Persian court ceremonies. Ancient Persian rulers built magnificent temples in her honor, understanding that her favor was essential to imperial fertility, agricultural abundance, and the dynasty's continuation through healthy royal heirs. She possessed the power to grant fertility to barren women, ensure abundant harvests, and provide the wisdom necessary for just governance and spiritual enlightenment. Her worship involved elaborate water rituals, pilgrimage to sacred springs, and ceremonies that honored her role as the divine source of both physical and spiritual nourishment. Archaeological evidence includes spectacular temple complexes, sophisticated irrigation systems that channeled her sacred waters, and countless offerings found in rivers and springs throughout former Persian territories. Her influence extended beyond Persia to Greek and Roman cultures, where she was adopted and syncretized with local water goddesses while retaining her essential attributes. Today, her legacy continues in the sacred nature of water in Persian culture, purification rituals that use flowing water, and the continued reverence for springs and rivers as sources of divine blessing and spiritual renewal. Number 3. Mithra. Mithra, the radiant god of contracts, oaths, and the sun, maintained the cosmic order through his power to enforce agreements, illuminate truth, and ensure that justice prevailed in both earthly and celestial realms. His divine authority made every contract sacred, every oath inviolable, and every promise a matter of cosmic significance that connected human affairs to universal principles of truth and justice. Ancient Persian society depended on his blessing for trade agreements, political treaties, and religious covenants that held the empire together across vast distances and diverse populations. He possessed the ability to see through deception, punish oath-breakers, and reward those who kept their word even at great personal cost, making him essential to commercial, diplomatic, and religious life. His worship spread throughout the Roman Empire, where he became the patron deity of soldiers who swore sacred oaths of loyalty and courage in underground temples dedicated to his service. Archaeological evidence includes elaborate Mithraea, inscribed contracts that invoke his witness, and military dedications that honor his roles as divine protector of faithful warriors. His influence shaped legal systems, diplomatic protocols, and the concept that agreements have spiritual as well as practical significance in maintaining social order. Today, his legacy appears in legal traditions that invoke divine witness, the sacred nature of oaths and vows, and beliefs about cosmic justice that ultimately rewards faithfulness and punishes betrayal. Number 2. Ahriman, Angra Mainyu. Ahriman, the terrible god of darkness and destruction, wielded the power of cosmic evil in eternal opposition to Ahura Mazda's light, representing the principle of chaos, deception, and spiritual corruption that threatened all creation. His influence manifested through disease, drought, war, and moral corruption that sought to undermine the divine order and plunge existence into primordial darkness. Ancient Zoroastrian theology recognized him as a necessary cosmic force whose opposition to good allowed free will and moral choice to have meaning, while his ultimate defeat was prophesied to mark the end of history. He possessed armies of demons, the ability to corrupt human souls, and power to bring suffering that tested faith and revealed true character in those who chose to serve light or darkness. His existence was not worshipped but acknowledged through protective rituals, prayers for divine protection, and ceremonies designed to strengthen the forces of good against his destructive influence. Archaeological evidence includes protective amulets, ritual texts describing defenses against evil, and architectural features designed to ward off demonic influences in sacred spaces. His influence shaped dualistic thinking, concepts of moral choice, and the understanding that spiritual development required conscious opposition to evil forces. Today, his legacy appears in concepts of ultimate evil, the devil in Abrahamic religions, and psychological understanding of shadow forces that must be acknowledged and overcome for spiritual growth and moral development. Number 1. Ahura Mazda. Ahura Mazda, the supreme wise lord and creator of all existence, wielded ultimate divine authority over the cosmic order, embodying perfect wisdom, truth, and light in eternal opposition to darkness and deception. His power created the universe through pure thought, established the moral law that governs both earthly and celestial realms, and provided the divine spark of wisdom that allows humans to choose between good and evil. Ancient Persian kings ruled by his divine mandate, understanding that earthly authority derived from cosmic order and that imperial justice must reflect his perfect wisdom and truth. He possessed the power to see all thoughts and deeds, judge all actions with perfect justice, and guide faithful souls toward ultimate reunion with divine light and truth. His worship centered on fire temples, where eternal flames symbolized his everlasting presence, elaborate ceremonies that honored his cosmic authority, and daily prayers that aligned human will with divine purpose. Archaeological evidence includes magnificent palace inscriptions proclaiming his supremacy, fire temples that served as centers of his worship, and royal art that depicted Persian kings receiving authority from his divine presence. His influence shaped the development of monotheism, concepts of universal moral law, and the understanding that ultimate reality consists of perfect wisdom and truth that humans can approach through ethical living and spiritual discipline. Today, his legacy continues in Zoroastrian communities, monotheistic religions that trace their origins to Persian influence, and philosophical traditions that recognize wisdom and truth as the highest divine attributes accessible to human understanding. These Persian gods embodied the sophisticated spirituality of an empire that bridged East and West, creating religious concepts that would influence Judaism, Christianity, and Islam for millennia to come. Their divine authority flowed through sacred fires, royal ceremonies, and the daily choices between truth and falsehood that shaped both individual destinies and cosmic history. Though political conquest scattered their empire, their spiritual legacy endures in the living faith of Parsi communities, the sacred fires that still burn in their honor, and the eternal human struggle between light and darkness that gives meaning to moral choice and spiritual development. Like this video, and subscribe to Deca Rankings for more videos like this.